Part of it. For 1/18/2016, for the minutes of the May 2nd, 2016 meeting, are there any additions or corrections? A motion to approve those minutes? And moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries. And for 1/19/2016 is the approval for general fund invoices from May 1st and May 31st, 2016. Is there a motion to approve general fund expenses? Moved. Is there a second? Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there an opposition? 1-4-1. No. The motion carries. For our reports. Bill? Remember to hockey night.
I just was going to say that. You have about 5 minutes.
Thank you. Put it on your lip.
Can you hear me?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things on my report for tonight. One, last month I mentioned in my report that we were making plans to put a retaining wall in the area behind the backstop at Cecil Park, and also 2 adjacent wing walls on either side of the concession stand. I have a cost estimate from Tar Ready Mix Concrete for a precast block unit. It's a cobblestone face, and I am requesting an amount not to exceed $5,000 for the purchase of those blocks. They tell me they need 6 to 8 weeks lead time before they'll have those ready. So tonight I'm requesting authorization to spend up to $5,000 for those wall units. It doesn't include geofactory factor. We'll do that ourselves.
Does anybody have any questions or look at that? Is there a motion? We have a motion and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion carries.
Thank you. Also, I'd like to let everybody know, I even received, well, not myself, but the department has received speed humps from Mr. DiNardo. The speed hump kit was to be installed in Timber Run. It was shipped to our facility down there. I have a picture I can share. My impression is, in talking with Dan, that the board has to make a decision as to where this thing's going to be installed. So I have a picture here of that. You know, passing down. Take a look at it. So anyway, we'll sit on that until we receive some formal direction as to where that's to be installed.
Yeah, I thought the developer was going to put that in there.
What we had discussed was
At their expense, right?
what we had discussed was that as we went through the process, that
Mine's not.
I think it's on now. So what we had discussed was that the location, there were only a couple locations in the plan that it could go in. Bill had discussed the one to not have it down in the winter time because of plowing. That we thought that the alternative would be to have Mr. DiNardo purchase the temporary speed hump and then decide if the board wants to put it there to give enough plot, and it's something that can be installed and removed by Public Works. If we still want Mr. DiNardo to install it, we can do that, but we have the material on site. That's what I wanted to make sure we had.
How many were ordered?
Just one.
There was only one required as part of the development.
That's correct.
Can I address that, please, since we're on that topic? Because I addressed this board approximately 3 months ago for my plan.
It was longer than that, 4 or 5 months.
And specifically, Supervisor Cassiola requested that 20 be ordered at a cost approximately billed from you, approximately $1,000. And this was at least 3 to 4 months ago, and it's not approved. And why is it only for Timber Run at the cost of the developer? Why can't the supervisors approve it for Mayfair? And I addressed the board on this approximately at least 4 months ago, and Supervisor Cassiola stated that we should order 20 at the township cost, and Bill, you stated that approximately $1,000. That's specifically what you guys stated.
You're right, though. To answer your question on Timber Run, it was part of the original development.
I understand that. I'm not worried about that.
I'm not saying I agree with you. You're
right.
So where are we now with
That's the
Mayfair?
reason why it's not, we're not anywhere. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere. This was approved as part of the developers agreement Timber Run, and we still don't know where we're going.
I totally understand that, Cindy, but my concern is, 4 months ago, I requested this for Mayfair, and it said it was going to get done, and it's not done. Yet there's thousands of dollars
My
going.
understanding, the reason why it's not done
Why?
is I haven't had a legal opinion from our solicitor yet as to what our liability is for having this down, for having those down.
So why wasn't that legal opinion done when I requested it 4 months ago?
Here's the problem that you have with those. If a child were to get up on top of those, fall and strike their head, that liability lies with the township for having it out there.
Is that high enough?
Come on, that's,
What if they fall?
if I fall out in the parking lot, it's on you guys. It's the same thing. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Mr. Chairman,
That's absolutely ridiculous. If my kid's on a swing over there and falls and gets hurt, it's on you guys.
In terms of speed humps, before you go further, the requirements for speed humps by state law, and this is PennDOT, is there's established criteria by which there's only certain locations that you can put them in. So at Timber Run, when we looked at it, there were really only one place that we could put it in. So we need to get that back in front of the board. If somebody wants them put in Mayfair Meadows, that's fine if the board decides to study that. But the first thing you need to do is see where they can possibly be located in accordance with the established criteria. That's the first step. And then with regards to the speed humps and purchasing them, we made the developer pay for it because I think it was almost a $10,000 right?
That actually was $2,500
For
for the speed hump.
For the purchase one, did you get the receipt?
I didn't get the let's see what I got.
They were more, I thought they were more expensive than that.
That's the shipping.
That's the shipping cost. It was, when he told me, it was almost like a $9,000 right at the top.
What would be the cost to study where they should?
It's just a matter of kind of, we can look at it from just, we don't have to go out and look at anything, you can look at just the maps and the topographic information. Let me ask Mike whether it would take to study Mayfair Meadows and get back to.
Well, I mean, part of the problem is that we can't just study Mayfair,
Right,
but
but
we
just
would have
Mayfair.
to do every development.
May I just make a suggestion? I work in other communities where speed humps have become, people have decided they wanted to do them. And I think the best thing to do would be for the board to adopt a policy. Because before you start putting them in, you want to have an established policy by which people come in and there's a consensus in the neighborhood that they wanted a certain number of people that you establish. Then you have to have a hearing, and then you have to make sure you know where it's going to go. You put them in temporarily to check and see that they're working okay and they do what they're supposed to do. Because most of the times they're put in to slow people down, but they're also to dissuade people from using something as a cut through. That's another reason. So I can get the board an example policy to look at, but I'd suggest before you even start with studying anything, that you look at some sort of a uniform policy. That I can tell you on Timber Run that was kind of what I recall when that was approved that night, was it was kind of an end condition that one of the supervisors put on it, and there really wasn't anything specifically attached to it at that time. So that's kind of where
I
we're saying.
think first of all, we had some conflicting information. If we thought 1,000 and it could be 9,000 or 2,500, we at least need a price on those if we
Yeah.
apply.
Yeah.
If we bought some for whatever amount.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a suggestion? The price here we put in hot mix asphalt permanent for what, on asphalt, $120 as opposed to how many thousands of dollars you would spend on something that's temporary.
Yeah.
It may wear out, crack, and break.
Yeah, I put those in before. That's about 6 ton of material is all you need for the lead in, lead out to get on the hump itself.
Wasn't your concern with the permanent ones about having the power?
Yeah, they'd have to be picked up. In order for us to pick them up, we'd
How
have,
could you pick up asphalt?
not the asphalt ones. The asphalt ones you can fall into very slowly.
If we're going to put them in, why not have them year round?
And I don't
See,
But the other part of the asphalt ones is the pavement markings have to be maintained
And signs.
and the signs.
You have to put
The
signs.
pavement markings are a bigger concern because of the winter maintenance.
I feel like though, Mr. Supervisor Yuzio is right. I mean, if it's going to cost significantly less to put in permanent one that you can't plow over, and all we have to do is maintain pavement markings and signs. That's a couple of less expensive than $10,000+ for a temporary one, and then whose responsibility is it to pick them up?
Well,
Plus, like, in the winter is when you want people to slow down the roads, because you don't want them to hit ice and,
Mr. Chair.
yeah, I would agree with Mr. Gizio on his recommendation for the speed humps. Those are easier to maintain. They don't have to be picked up and put down. And the other part of that too is when you pick them up during the winter time, there are bolt holes in the road that you have to do something with. They get lagged into the pavement. This particular one that we just got received from Mr. Leonardo has 80 bolts.
80.
80 bolts. 80 bolts with flags. Yes.
So wait, why did we go with this versus a permanent one?
I think it was required in their residential development, was it not?
In the discussions that we had before, and maybe my recollection's wrong, the discussion was that we didn't want them down for the winter time. This was a reason to accomplish what he wanted to do up there at that point in time, to get something from him related to that. And, we would try it out on a trial basis to have. It's a good thing to have one on a trial basis. Getting back to what Frank said, and I agree with him, it doesn't sound like much, but we bid these speed humps before in other municipalities, and the cost by the time you bid it, with the pavement markings down and everything, they come in anywhere from around $10,000 to $15,000 each to install in the blacktop.
Let's do it in-house. Do it in-house for our road department.
Sure, you can, I mean, of course you can see Bill's
face. You might want to like the study look up.
Little pile of asphalt, rake it, hand rolls, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, this may be before we investigate, looking at that and all the other areas. We have that remark from one gentleman, quite positive we should have a hearing, public hearing, and see what the interest is that, your suggestion was maybe putting 6 or 8 of them.
Well,
Maybe-
when I was in front of you guys before, I think it was, I requested 2 or 3 on our street. And Sean, I've known Sean for years, he understands the complaints that we've had, numerous complaints on my street. It's like NASCAR. And somebody's gonna get hurt. I mean, somebody's gonna get hit, killed, whatever it is. And I understand the police cannot be everywhere at one time, I get that. But, I'm done at this point calling Sean and his department, complaining about the speeders. And it's mostly, I'll be honest, mostly kids flying through, 16, 17-year-olds. I want them to slow down. And I don't think by asking for a couple speed humps, deterrents, whatever you want to call it, removable or permanent, like Frank's suggestion, is a big ask. I really don't.
But before we move on any of that, I think there should be advertisement and see that the whole neighborhood does desire it.
What's more than one neighborhood, I mean, you have to like.
Well, we'll try it in certain places.
You get calls from everywhere to put that speed.
We need some criteria.
Right.
Can we cut down on the size of them? Do they have to be this large?
You have to conform to the PennDOT standards.
There's a PennDOT standard with some pavement marking that they have to follow. If you don't put them in that way, then you're subject to liability of damage from cars going over with not meeting the standard. So you can damage somebody's car if you don't have it in accordance with the standard.
Well, maybe next time they'll slow